Okay, so let's start things out. We got the new God of War, which is just called God of War. Is that
man,
it?
who would have thought that the show would have started off with a Norse God of War? Like that's.
He's saying that because he predicted
crazy.
that, and we said he was wrong.
That's nuts. Okay, I am loving the fact that this looks like Resident Evil, but feels like The Last of Us.
Right.
I'm loving the fact that the camera is sort of hugging your shoulder in the way that Resident Evil. I mean, since Resident Evil and then Gears and Evil Within. And I love the way it sits there, but the fact that if this is Kratos or if the God of War is sort of a monomyth, that you are now training your son who really doesn't want to kill anything, how to be a killer is incredible to me.
Well, I think what's so fascinating about that is that Kratos has always been this sort of like angry, gruff, just mean dude, and he's just kind of a monster of a person, but you can't really act like that in front of your kid. So reining it in a little bit, all of a sudden he's got to be this responsible adult, and he's actually giving his kid experience, like teaching him what to do here. And with that comes the little sensibility of being a good father, hopefully.
I kind of took it like it was a rebooted version of Kratos and not the Kratos that we had in the other games.
Sure.
Maybe he'll still have the same name, but I feel like it's not the same guy.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with that because Kratos was built on the fact that he, in a weird, drunken, stupor rage, murdered his family.
Right.
And obviously, he didn't murder his entire family in this game because he has a son that tags along with him, like Ellie tags along with Joel.
Are they going to have that dragon eat the kid? You know, what do you think? Is he's going to screw up real bad because the kid's too wussy and doesn't shoot the bow and arrow?
I mean, I like it reminded me of in the Tomb Raider reboot how
do you respond to that?
Lara had the moments where like the first time she had to shoot a deer, like she was emotional about it.
Yeah.
She was like, I don't want to do this, but I have to survival.
And that's a very hard turn from the God of War that we had where you had to sacrifice a woman to progress in the game.
Yes.
Yeah,
It's going to be hard for people to take God of War as something that is now intending to be heartwarming, but I mean, that trailer did that for me.
Yeah.
I mean,
Absolutely.
We said it on the pre-show that God of War's tone and visual style and sort of aesthetic made sense for the time.
Yes.
And it's a very different time.
I mean,
This is what makes sense now.
Yes.
Clearly, this is the kind of thing it's probably going to alienate some God of War fans, but I mean, what in video games doesn't alienate somebody? So,
But it's going to alienate some God of War fans. But I mean, we've been super critical of God of War on Beyond over the past couple of years, and we came out of this super excited. So I think it's also going to draw in a new audience.
Yeah,
to be honest.
absolutely. I really love the implications of open world stuff here.
Yeah.
I really want to know like what percentage of the game it sort of hinges on this family dynamic. If you play as the kid, like where's this going? Maybe this is Kratos' father, and that's young Kratos there while he still has his hair.
I feel like this could totally be some weird bait and switch thing, like Metal Gear Solid 2, where this is the tutorial or something, and then you're the kid, and it's like a totally different setup.
I mean, the one weird thing is, obviously this does look like this Nordic setting, but at one point it said click in the triggers for Spartan Rage.
Yeah, that was funny.
Yeah. And so I don't know if that's just a term they're carrying over, or if you are actually Kratos who went on some odyssey. I mean, if you could be like Odysseus and like leave your crappy Greek mythology and go to some other mythology.
I mean, I kind of prefer it as a reboot. It's maybe confirmation bias, but I think that I'm seeing it.
You know,
Like, it would be better if it weren't attached to the other games, because then
totally
it doesn't have to
agree with
worry
you.
about that legacy. And you're right, it's giving me the Last of Us vibes, like, really, really strongly, and I hope that it can stick to that.
Yeah.
I want to point out, if we're going to call out the Spartan Rage thing, I want to point out that he says, don't fire the bow. You don't fire a bow. You loose it. I'm sorry. I'm going to be that guy. I'm going to point out there's no firing mechanism.
Actually, Kratos.
It's a stick with a string on it that shoots other sticks
Did
at
you
stuff.
just actually titular hero
God
God
of
of War?
War?
I sure did.
You know what else is unbelievable? Dragons. And there's tons of them in this game. They're flying around, and they can probably swoop down and kill your son, and you have to stop them.
Yeah.
I'm going to be honest, we need to talk. We have so much to talk about.
We have a lot to talk about. I mean, what do we go to next? Tell me in my ear, Zach. We're gonna talk about Last Guardian. That's coming up.
Yeah.
Yes, that was the second thing we saw.
We got a release date. What is it? October?
Yeah, it's coming out. What is it? October 25th?
25th?
Yes, I think you're right, 25th
Yeah,
or 24th.
I'm sorry. There was a lot of other exciting stuff that happened in that conference.
Yeah.
I don't mean to be
Can we
rude and
talk
forget
about
things.
the two